Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wasatch Front Transportation Technical Advisory Committee meeting. It's good to be here. Mr. Castle, thanks for the cookies. Appreciate it. One way or another, I'm going to call you out, right? So to get started, we've got some news coming up. The main highlights will be Wasatch Front staff will be presenting some things to us. But before we get into those things, we need a motion for the minutes from February 26th. They were sent out to us. So do we have a motion for approval on those minutes?
Keith from Midvale, I'll make that motion.
Got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Mr. Castle? And any other discussion on those? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, well, that's great. So we have a change, not of program. I think I heard Helen online. County is going to present some funding opportunities. Helen Peters is going to be doing that for us. So Helen, I believe you're online. Time is all yours. Helen, are you speaking? I think you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you are.
I hate when I do those brain dead things. Okay, well, we have a funding opportunity, no S on the end, just funding opportunity, but you should always feel free to give me a call if you're looking for money, because we know different connections we can make and help you connect with. But today I wanted to talk about the Corridor Preservation Fund. It's now open for a COG July meeting. And so we're hoping to probably close it I think there's some slides that probably tell you the date we're closing, which should be the last week in June. We have, again, about $3 million. And what I would like to do is really encourage you, if you want to apply, please call us and kind of go through the application. We're getting some more sophisticated type of corridor preservation projects, and they need a little more time to negotiate and work out. So if I love the regular straightforward ones, but sometimes we need to work on it for a quick minute before we can actually approve the application. So anybody have any questions?
Anybody online? I don't see any right now, Helen.
Okay, well, feel free to call as you have questions.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate
Thanks.
that. And Helen, just a personal note or a group note, thank you for all you do. I know that you've helped us in Cottonwood Heights quite a bit. And if you haven't worked with Helen before, she's very easy to work with. And so take a shot at it. It's a great opportunity.
You.
No, thank you. We love it when people hand out money.
Yeah, exactly. You're all my best friends, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We'll move on. We have a UDOT TAP program update from Mr. Ogden. Kevin, are you?
TAP program and the Safe Sidewalks program for UDOT. First of all, I guess I better introduce myself for you that don't know me. I'm Kevin Ogden. I'm a PM over in Region 2 UDOT. I manage the TAP project, the Safe Sidewalk project, and then the Safe Routes to Schools project once they're assigned from Central. And then I work with some of you guys on local government projects. But if we can go to the next slide. So the TAP program is, for people that aren't aware, is a way for us to help you create sidewalks or trails on your local routes. There's some notes here. I don't want to bore you guys to death by reading them all. the big things to take away from this is it's a 60-40 match. It reads in there that design can't be done before we have a contract. That's only if you want to use that for a match, part of your match. And all that we ask is that you document it and be ready that if we were to be audited, that you could prove those costs were applied to I know the way you guys do your payroll is a little bit different than we do ours. So we just need to make sure that we can show that it was actually hours billed to that project. So does anybody have any questions on any of the TAP program?
Sorry, Ben, is his microphone on?
Maybe. Sorry about that.
Kevin, when does the program start, or when are you gonna?
So I've turned it on today. It's all online, and hopefully we can walk through that before I get out of here. It's the application period is open now, and I think it's on the next slide. Maybe I think the 30th is when we've asked for them to be in by, the 30th of next month. And I think, what did we decide on this, Kendall? Was it 200,000 this year is what we wanted to look at the project? Or was it 250 on these ones?
Yeah, so the total funding that is available is $500,000 that our region has for the TAP program. We're looking to have maximum projects that are looking for UDOT's portion at $250,000 is what we're looking at for the max this year. So kind of note that would allow us at least to give out 2 projects through this program. Another thing to note about this program is if it is already a federally funded project, we can roll these funds into that federal project if it was awarded. And then also, if it is not federally funded already, there's an opportunity for this to become state funds to go through outside of the federal process. So there's 2 directions to this possible. So depending on what the project is that you're submitting, those decisions can be made afterwards.
Okay, and then we'll move over to the safe side.
We've got a question
Sorry.
down here.
Sorry
Kevin.
about that.
I'm wondering if I misheard in the northern area. They were saying 500,000 was their range. They were looking at bundling projects into, do they have more available there in the northern area, or did I mishear?
I don't know for sure. So each region gets 500,000 each year.
Okay,
We've already allocated ours for 2025, so this would be for 2026 allocation. And so that's where we have the 500,000. I know that we've been looking at trying to look to groups to maybe do design with the same firm and try to do it underneath one pin if
Mhm.
possible. But that's a challenge that we're having on our own systems to be able to parse out projects by the cities and be able to divvy that out with one designer, one CM firm to try to do cost savings. We're looking at that possibility, but until we know who's been selected, I can't have those conversations yet.
okay. I think
On
that's
how
what
we
they
would approach
said, so I'm
that.
understanding better now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can I, sorry,
Go ahead, sorry.
you might have already said this and I apologize if I didn't hear it. So the safe sidewalk project, is that only on state? It used to be only on state routes, correct?
Correct, yeah, we'll go on to that the next
Oh,
slide.
yeah, okay, my apologies.
No,
I
you're
just
you're
was
fine.
reading the top. It talked
Nope,
about
you're
state
perfect.
programs, so
You're
I
perfect.
apologize.
Oh, well, maybe I'm on the wrong slide. That's probably why I'm on the wrong slide. So yeah. Oh, no, she's clicked over. So yeah, the Safe Sidewalk Program, that's to help with state roads that are in your vicinity that are missing sections of sidewalk. We'll pay up to 75% and 25% is on the local. Same thing goes for that. It's a soft match. So if you guys want to do the design in-house, we've even had some locals that have constructed it using their own maintenance forces. And as long as we have clear billing, we can pay that back to you guys. Can you go to UDOT's homepage?
So just to kind of go on that one, to give you an idea, that's about $300,000 that we get as a region for safe sidewalks each year. And so there isn't a huge portion of that. And like Kevin said, that's the 75-25 split for those. And then everything that's constructed does have to meet UDOT standards where it is in our right of way.
Sorry, I just want to walk you guys through the application. And I have an email that I'm going to send out as soon as I'm done with this, and it will go to everybody that's in this room, as well as all of your planners and contacts that I have from previous years. But it seems like every time I send it out, I get about 200 emails back that the people have moved on to other positions. So it's really hard to keep that up to date. I've been working with Ben. We're trying to keep our our contacts up to date. But if I miss somebody, please send it to the people in your organization that need it. But, so what they'll do is they'll come over here and they'll go to business, click on the business tab. And then if you scroll down, there's one here, it's in the middle here. So if you go here to this public entities and local government tab, and then you scroll down, you see the Salt Lake Summit and Tooele County Region 2 funding opportunities. This is all just basically what I've showed you in the other slides, but there's tabs down at the bottom that take you to a Google form that will take you to what is required for these positions. So it's all online, it's all kept in a spreadsheet. Hopefully it all works like it's supposed to. If not, I'll reach back out to you and we'll figure out what didn't come over.
Got the dates on there for when we're
I do, it's
closing?
up at the top. You scroll all the way back to the top, sorry about that. It's right here.
Perfect.
So applications are open as of today. They're due April 30th. I'll send out a reminder halfway through. And then we hope to have them anticipated to have you an answer by July 1st. The funding, I technically probably won't be able to write checks on it till February of 2026 or so.
October's when we can start the agreements.
Right.
And then it's based off of how fast you guys can move, because this is a reimbursement program. So this isn't that we're fronting the money. So that's the other challenge, of just noting that this is a reimbursement. So as soon as you start having expenses come in, we can look at how we process that for reimbursement based off of dollars.
Okay, and I'm also over one other program that I'd like to talk to you about. I'm also over the Region Director Contingency Funds. We've worked with a lot of the cities in here. Robert Stewart, the director, likes to partner with the locals to do other projects, such as one of the projects we did some fencing on a structure over I-15 that we were having pedestrians, climb over and stuff. And we partnered with Mill Creek on that one to do that one. We're partnering with the Greater Salt Lake or the county to do a crossing over a railroad track up on U-111. There's just a lot of opportunities there. If there's something that you think is a great partnership, I know most of you locals meet with him personally, but if not, you can send me an email and I can talk to him about it and we can try to work something out there. So that's all I got, and I'll send that email out today. Appreciate your guys' time.
Any other questions from anyone?
Thank you. Appreciate that. No questions online. Are we good? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on. We'll get into the item number 4, the Transportation Improvement Program business. Mr. Withrich is going to introduce that. And the way we are going to set this up, they will be presenting the CMAQ projects as well as the CRP projects together. And then we'll take the motions and votes on each one of those individually, but we'll let you have the time, Mr. Withrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as you'll recall, so in this process, so the Technical Advisory Committee, you have a critical role or responsibility as to where you will be making a recommendation from today's presentation that we will take to TransCom, which is the Transportation Coordinating Committee for the Regional Council. And so as we go through these projects, we'll go through the programs as the chair indicated, and then we'll present a staff recommendations. That's the staff recommendation comes, and maybe, we'll get to that. As the staff recommendation comes, that's kind of the initial starting block for the discussion, to open up, to let you know, as we've reviewed all of the information possible, this is what the staff's looking at, but the responsibility for recommending the project comes from you. And so we want you to feel comfortable to ask questions. We want you to make any comments that you might have. And as we move through the projects, hopefully we'll identify the best projects for the amount of funds that are available for us. As you're aware, back in September, this process initiated for the 2026-2031 Transportation Improvement Program. It initiated with our request for letters of intent. Those were due back at the early part of October. Then staff did a very high level eligibility evaluation of the projects and then made a request for project concept reports. From that point on, there has been communication between staff and yourselves, as well as on-site field reviews and evaluation of the data. So as we, and then we'll bring that information to you today. So this slide has been modified since we last met. There was some discussion on the project. So there were 87 total projects that we're evaluating, right? But only 54 of those are unique projects. And those 54 total more than $566 million. The request for the federal funds is a little more than $209 million. And we have about 31.5 million available. So you can see there's a significant demand for a relatively low amount of funding, but we'll work on it together and identify the best project. So we're going to go through the CMAQ project first, then we're going to do the CRP, and then we're going to invite Kip up here, and he's going to walk us through the staff recommendations and the discussion to ensue. So the first project that we have that was requesting was a project from Cottonwood Heights. This is the sidewalk connection project on 2300 East between Fort Union Boulevard and 6400 South. The estimated project cost is 1.9 plus million. The funds being requested was 1.7 plus million. The next project is also a project in Cottonwood Heights. Actually, I guess not. So my slides. So the next project we have is a request from UTA. This is for the Davis Salt Lake Connector. This is for operations. This is a request for $5 million over the next 3 years for the operations on this transit system, which will go from the Farmington Station up north up to the University of Utah Research Park. The next project is this is a project in Harriman. This is for the park and ride facility out off of Porter Rockwell. This project's estimated to cost a little more than $3 million. The funds being requested are 2.7 plus million. Boy, I'm just getting already choked up. The next project is a request from Holiday. This is on I-215. This is a shared use path. It's pedestrian trail off of I-80. The estimated project cost is 3.3 plus million, and the funds being requested is 3.1 plus million. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is on 7200 South on-ramp. It's northbound on-ramp. This is to widen the on-ramp. The estimated cost is $7 million. Funds being requested are $3.5 million. The next project is a request from Salt Lake City. This is a Highland High intersection improvement from a four-leg intersection to a roundabout. Estimated project cost is 1.1 plus million, and the funds being requested are a little more than 1 million. The next request is a request from UDOT. This is on I-215 and 7th North. This is to add ramp meters and widen a ramp there on the southbound I-215 ramp. The estimated cost is 3.3 plus million, and the funds being requested is 1 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is Salt Lake Central Transit Improvements. This is for the parking garage and other transit improvements there at the 2nd South and 6th West Central Station. Estimated project cost is 55 million, and the funds being requested are 10 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is on 5600 West. This is for operating cost. Its operating cost estimate is 31 plus million. Funds being requested are 5 million, and that is also over a 3-year period. Next project is an intersection project with Sandy City at 114th South and 13th East. Project estimated cost is 5.3 plus million, and the funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. Next project is also a request from Sandy City. This is an intersection at 7th East and Size Road. This is intersection improvement. Estimated project cost is 3.7 plus million, and the funds being requested are 3.1 plus million. Next project. It's a project in South Jordan. Wow, that one changed quick. South Jordan, this is on Shields Lane. This is a multi-use path. This is a realigning the existing right-of-way of the facility or the road between Bangerter and 3200 West. Project estimated cost is 4.5 plus million. Funds being requested are 3.9 plus million. The next request is a request from South Salt Lake. This is a mobility improvements along 3rd West between 2100 South and Andy Avenue. Project estimated cost is 1.2 plus million, and the funds being requested are 1.1 plus million. Next project is also a mobility improvement in South Salt Lake. This is at Central Point Place from Main Street to State Street. The project estimated cost is 39,000. Funds being requested are a little more than 36,000. The next request is a South Salt Lake project, mobility improvement at Central Point Station to the east from 3rd West and 2100 South to State Street. The project estimated cost is 43,000. Funds being requested are a little more than 40,000. Next request is a mobility improvement in South Salt Lake. This is Center Point Station West. Estimated project cost is 46,000. Funds being requested are 42,800 plus. Then we have a request from South Salt Lake, also mobility improvements on Haven. This is from 3rd West to West Temple. Project estimated cost is 4,700 plus. And the funds being requested are 443,000 plus. We have a request then from UTA. This is for the Van Pool expansion in the Salt Lake County area. The project estimated cost is 450 for 10 new vans. Funds being requested are 419,000 plus. That's all of the CMAQ projects. Any questions? We'll take a quick look then at the CRP, or the carbon reduction program. Okay, so our slide shows us there's 20 projects that we're applying for the CRP funds, totaling more than $51 million. And we have about 2.4 million available to program. So the first project there is a request from UTA. This is the Davis Salt Lake Connector. This is for operations between Farmington Station and the University of Utah Research Park. This is over a 5-year period for 3 years of funding. Funds requested are $5 million. Estimated project cost is just under 25 million. The next request is a request from Holiday. This is on the I-215 shared use path pedestrian trail between 20th East and 2300 East, about a half mile in length. Estimated cost is 3.3 plus million. Funds being requested are 3.1 plus million. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is on I-15 7200 South northbound on-ramp to widen the on-ramp. The project estimated cost is 7 million plus. Funds being requested are 3.5 million. Next project is a request from Riverton City. This is for the electric vehicle charging stations there at the Public Works. Estimated project cost is 496,000. Funds being requested are 450,000. Next project is a request from Salt Lake City. This is for carbon reduction along the Salt Lake's 9-line trail between 6th West and 5th East, about 1.6 miles in length. Estimated project cost is $636,000. Funds being requested are $592,000. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is the I-215 and 7th North on-ramp. This is to add meters and widen the ramp. Estimated project cost is 3.3+ million. The funds being requested are 1 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is the Salt Lake Central Transit improvements for parking garage and other transit-related improvements with bus loop. Estimated project cost $55 million. Funds being requested are 10 million. The next project is a request from UTA on 5600 West. This is for operating costs on this system. It's actually a 29-mile system. Estimated to cost at 31.2+ million. Funds being requested are $5 million over a 3-year period. Next request is a request from Sandy City on the intersection of 114th South, 1300 East. Estimated project cost is 5.3+ million. Funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. Next project is a project in Sandy on 7th East and Size Road, which is about 8800 South. This project is estimated to cost at $3.7 million. Funds being requested are 3.1+ million. Next project is a request from South Jordan. This is the Shields Lane multi-use path. This is phase 1 between Bangor Highway and 3200 West. Project estimated cost is 4.5+ million. Funds being requested are 3.9+ million. The next project is a request in Compwood Heights. This is on 2300 East. This is a sidewalk connection project between Fort Union and 6400 South. Estimated project cost is 1.9+ million. Funds being requested are 1.7+ million. The next project is a project in South Salt Lake. This is mobility improvements along 300 West between 2100 South and Andy Avenue. Project estimated cost is 1.2+ million. Funds being requested are 1.1+ million. The next project is in South Salt Lake. This is also mobility improvements for bike and ped. Central Point Place between Main Street and State Street. Estimated project cost is $39,000. Funds being requested are $36,000+. Next project is also in South Salt Lake. This is on Central Point Station East. This project is estimated to cost $43,000. Funds being requested are a little more than $40,000. The next project is also on Central Point Station, but to the west. This between 3000 West and the station. Project estimated cost is $46,000. Funds being requested are a little more than $42,000. The next project is in South Salt Lake. It's mobility improvements along Haven between 300 West and West Temple. This project is estimated to cost $476,000. Funds being requested are $443,000+. We next have a request from UTA for a van pool expansion. This is for 10 new vans here in the Salt Lake County area, estimated to cost $450,000. The funds being requested are $419,000. Next request is from West Valley City. This is on 3600 West. This is for bike lanes between 4100 South and 3800 South. Project estimated to cost is 4.3+ million, and funds being requested are 2.9+ million. I said 36 West, didn't I? It's 2200 West, sorry. Our time is right in the wrong spot up there. West Valley City is our next project. This is a request on 4800 West for bike lanes between 3500 South and 3100 South. Project estimated cost is $6 million. Funds being requested are 3.8 plus million. And that's all of the projects in the CRP program or carbon reduction program. Any questions? We'll have Kip come up and walk us through the projects with the discussion.
Thank you, Ben, for that review. Coming around right now is a list of those projects that Ben just reviewed for the CMAQ program. And for those of you who might be new, I'll walk you through how this table works. The CMAQ, congestion mitigation and air quality, and the CRP or carbon reduction program, they're kind of twins. The funds are predicated on establishing a benefit to air quality. And we're looking at emissions of nitrogen oxides, volatile organic compounds, carbon monoxide, and particulate matter for the CMAQ program, which is what I wanted to that's what you're looking at right now. The carbon reduction program looks exclusively at CO2 emissions. So the quantities they're like in different scales. But other than that, the evaluation is similar. We're looking for something that's eliminating vehicle trips or reducing vehicle delay, something that will give us some measurable air quality improvements. So let me walk you through how this form works for the CMAQ projects. The number you see going down the left-hand column, that's the ranking based on the benefit cost in the second column. The benefit cost is measured in terms of kilograms of emissions reduced per $1,000 spent, just so we can get a workable number to look at. You can see the emissions over underneath the purple header, those 5 columns on the far right. That's in kilograms per day. Then the recommendations that the staff is bringing to you for your review and consideration is in that column with that's blue in the header. Okay. And the recommended projects are highlighted in bold. And if you hadn't noticed, there are 2 sides to this table. So let me walk you through the projects that we recommended. And for example, on project number 1, you'll see a notation under the recommendation column in blue, a notation for a CRP, carbon reduction program, meaning we're recommending that under a different funding program. Okay, so skipping down to project number 8, the operating subsidy for the UTA service on 5600 West. The request was for 4.6 million. We're recommending 1 million for that operating subsidy. That's kind of a function of the limitation in the funds we have this year. Next on there is the 10th project, ranked number 10, the Shields Lane Trail. They were asking for almost 4 million for this phase of that project. We were recommending 1.2 million for the Shields Lane project. Turning the form over, you have the intersection in Sandy at 114th South and 13th East. And the request was for 5 million. We were recommending 2.28 million. and that's highlighted in yellow for some reason. I think because we had additional funds for that in the CRP program. No. I don't remember why that's highlighted in yellow. Other than to underscore that there is a process that we go through and a lot of back and forth to try to find something that is going to be workable. And then the 13th ranked project, we have Salt Lake City intersection at 21st South and 17th East, putting a roundabout in there. The request was fairly modest at just under 1 million. We had recommended the requested amount. So that is the recommendation for the CMAQ program. I think maybe we should show the carbon reduction program recommendations before we start the discussion, so you can see how these two play off of each other. We'll
Yes,
go ahead and
that's fine.
pass those
Yes.
around.
Mhm.
Was there anything I need to clarify on CMAQ
Okay,
first?
question. If I remember right, wasn't there close to 30 projects applied for and there's only 18 on this sheet? Is the others, this is the top 18 or did I misunderstand? Okay, I thought I saw in your summary that there were 28 in the carbon and reduction and if nobody's saying the project's missing, then it's not gonna matter.
Did we miss anybody's project in these 18? Online, anyone? Is anybody noticing a CMAQ program, project that was submitted that we didn't cover in this recommendation? Or anyone online as well? Okay. I'll go move ahead with the carbon reduction program. If we're missing somebody's project, let us know. This slide was maybe prepared early on and we might have had the wrong tally. So.
Yeah, Kip. West Valley's missing a couple. Question I would have though, Kip, I mean, as far as this goes, yeah, we want to see if we're on here where that it got added, right? We want to make sure, but the other question is, does that change the choices, I guess? I mean, were the missing ones evaluated in this? I guess that's the real question.
What number is that?
Yep, Sandy's missing one of our projects off both of the CRP and CMAQ forms as well.
Which one? There was one that I think there was one we took out. The.
Size Road. 700 East
Yeah,
Size
with
Road.
with the new signal.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, we took that one out.
of both programs. Okay.
But
I don't think the West Valley, is there, what are the projects in West Valley? Is there more than one?
2200 west and 4800 west.
And did you already cover that one in your presentation? Yeah, I don't believe that one was included in our analysis. I don't know how we what do we want to do?
We can do a couple of things on those. So maybe if we go through the projects, apparently my fault there, I didn't provide all the information to Kip. But maybe if we go through all the evaluations on the projects and then come back, and then if there's a discussion on adding those or including those for future evaluation, it would be the direction of the committee.
Jared, did you have a question?
Oh.
Right. We'll
Is
jump
in a
right to
meeting
the,
with Gina and Holly right now.
Jared at Holiday, do you have a question or are you unmuted and talking to somebody else?
5 minutes from being done. Do you want me to have him call you as soon as he's out of the meeting?
Yeah, can we? Yeah, thank you.
we've got West Valley recommendations coming up in the other programs. And so we can do that. And if there's still an issue or concern, we can reevaluate it. Probably at this point, we probably wouldn't include those two projects in this process, where as far down through the line we are. But we can have that discussion and see what direction the committee would have us go. Will that
As far as
work?
West Valley is concerned, we're comfortable moving forward that direction, and we can submit these projects another time. So
Perfect.
we're fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it looks like that the West Valley projects were considered under more than one funding program. And there is a recommendation for those in STP. And so maybe in our discussions, they got removed from this analysis, but not removed entirely from the funding analysis.
Kip,
So-
can I ask a procedural question, or it might be
Yes.
for Ben? When, I know that y'all go through them and you look at them and you help us out by putting them in programs you think they would stand the better chance, or at least they are that way. Is that what might have happened with these 2, 3, or 4? Is that, or do
Yeah,
some
I'm-
just get eliminated
I think
without
that
even, I guess
that it
that's my
was
question.
a situation like that. Normally, we would keep them on this list if they were eligible for these other funds, just so, you see that they were part of the process. So
Okay, that would be my
mistake
question.
from
It would
dropping
be,
them from
it's-
this, but we didn't take them out of here without considering that we were looking at those under some other funds. So.
okay, well, yeah, that answers the question. Thank you.
All right, well, let me go ahead and summarize the carbon reduction program recommendations. Similar to what you just saw with the CMAQ, except we're only looking at the carbon dioxide column as far as the benefit cost. The other numbers are evaluated in there, but we're only using the CO2 number for the benefit cost. That's why the benefit cost numbers are on a different scale, because CO2 emissions are just so much larger than everything else. So the first project we have recommended is the UTA Vanpool expansion in the Salt Lake area. Requests were 419,000, and we were recommending providing that requested amount. Then number 5, the Sandy intersection at 114th South. The request was for 5 million. We're recommending 1 million towards that project. Turning that sheet over, and again, noting that there are recommendations showing up under other programming, like for number 12, lists that's going to be recommended under the STP program. That's what we should have done with the West Valley projects, if those were coming out in a different program. Project 14, the operating subsidy for the service between Salt Lake and Farmington for UTA, they were requesting 5 million. We were recommending 1 million. So those are the recommendations for the two funding programs, CRP and CMAC. The list of projects is very similar between the two. They're not totally identical, but we wanted to offer that to you for your review and discussion, and what you elect to do with this recommendation, that's the decision of this committee. Are there any questions on what's been explained about these projects and the recommendations?
I have a question. So there were the CRP funds and the CMAC funds. Are you able to get both of those funds for a single project?
It's
Does it-
possible. And
Can it count? Is that, okay,
we may have done that. Yeah, I think we did that for one of the Sandy projects.
okay, well, I didn't want to, I'm sure we can all read and see it. I was just curious if that's part of the process, it's possible, in case that question comes up.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Kip on any of these projects that have happened, that are being presented? And from here, Ben, they go to what committee? Once we make our action, they'll
go to TransCom. So
TransCom.
TransCom has a meeting in April, which all these draft projects will be recommended to them, or your recommendation will be given to them, and then they'll approve them for the draft programs.
Okay, great. Thank you. Before we move, what we'll do is we'll tackle these two items to get individually. So right now we have, take a motion for the recommendation from the Wasatch Front staff for the CMAC program to present those projects to the Transportation Board for approval.
So I have a quick question. On the CMAC list, there's two projects that say that they are recommended for CRP funds instead of CMAC funds, but then on the CRP funding list, they're not recommended for funding. One of them was ours, which is why I noticed, and then the other one is the UDOT ramp metering project. So 4 and 7 on the CMAC fund list.
So Kip, that was just a comment from South Salt Lake that number 4 and number 7 have CRP in the recommended column on the CMAC program. And I believe that's in error, but can you confirm that?
The UTA van pool is recommended in the CRP program. You said
Right.
number 1, and what was the other one?
I
Number
said
4.
Number
4
4.
and number 7.
4
Yeah.
and 7.
Right.
Yeah, that's an error on number 4. That wasn't. I think we're looking at, we got some earlier iterations of the recommendations, and those didn't get cleaned out. The dollar amounts that are recommended are accurate. Those notes in those cases are not. Apologize.
So,
So, right, to answer your question, that's an error on number 4 and number 7. Apologize for that.
And then there was a comment online from Holiday that the bicycle project on Highland, along Highland Drive shows up in the CMAC program, but not in the CRP program.
what number is that, Kip?
It's number 18 on CMAC.
But it looks like it's number 18 on the CMAC and number 16 on the CRP. So as
Okay.
far as we can tell, it looks like that project was considered in both the CMAC and CRP, that I-215 shared use path in Holiday.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, any other questions on that? So I will ask the final one. So,
I have
no,
one
go
too.
ahead, Brittany, sorry.
Well, can I clarify that we had a bicycle project along I-215, and then we also had a separate application for Highland Drive Complete Street, which also included a bicycle lane or a bicycle ATP path.
Jared, you're correct. That Highland Drive is being evaluated with the STP program.
Okay. But we did include an application for the CMAC on that as well, didn't we?
I don't recall on that one. It wouldn't be eligible where we would be reconstructing the roadway.
Right.
Okay.
I believe it was submitted for CMAC, but that's correct. Part of the project is reconstructing the roadway, so that was evaluated in the STP program, because reconstruction, as been mentioned, is not eligible for CMAC or CRP.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And can we see the STP projects before we make a motion on these two? Because there are cells in here where STP is listed in the recommended projects column.
Okay. That's just procedural. We can do if we need to. Does anyone have any issues or qualms about just going through the next one to see how they fare it out on this? So if we don't have any, if you don't mind, then we'll kind of alter slightly or make a slight shift, and we'll go on to the TAP projects. Or do you want to do the STP? Or do you want to do all 4 of them, Brittany?
I'm okay either way. I just wanted to at least see the STP ones first, since STP was in the recommended column.
Okay, so can we do STP right now, Mr. Withridge?
Yes. So we'll run through the STP slides quick. So there were 32 STP projects. The others we're just making up as we go, Ben. Good catch. But so 32 projects requesting more than 174 million, and we have about 21.5. That number is actually now 22.5. In the course here, we're constantly sweeping and moving things around and taking full advantage of the freed up funds. So we got 22.5 in that program. So real quick, going through the projects here. The first request there is a project request from Comwood Heights on 2300 East. This is a sidewalk connection project between Fort Union Boulevard to 6400 South. Project estimated cost is 1.9 plus million. Funds being requested is 1.7 plus million. The next project is also in Comwood Heights. This is on Bengal Boulevard. This is a pedestrian trail or sidewalk between 2600 East to Pamela Drive. a little more than a third of a mile in length. Project estimated cost 4.8 plus million. Funds being requested 4.4 plus million. The next project is a project in Compwood Heights. This is on Highland Drive. This is for a widening project through the intersection between 7101 South and 6990 South. This is estimated to cost 3.8 plus million, and the funds being requested are 3.5 plus million. Next project is a request in Draper. This is on Fort Street. This is on Fort Street between 132 South and 138 South. 0.8 of a mile in length. The estimated project cost is 9.5 plus million. Funds being requested are 8.7 plus million. The next project that we have is a request from Draper. This is a Lone Peak Parkway. This is reconstruction, minor widening. This is a project that is underway that has a significant shortfall. They were coming back to us to ask for a board mob, but because of the amount of funding, we felt that it would be more appropriate to go through the process and come before the committee for review and approval through the process. Estimated total project cost is 13 plus million. The funds being requested, shortfall is 4.3 plus million. The next project is a project in Immigration Canyon. This is up on about 4900 East. This is for slope mitigation. Project estimated cost a little more than $4 million, and the funds being requested is 3.7 plus million. The next project that we have is a request from Harriman City out on 126 South and Harriman Main Street. This is for an intersection improvement for a free right turn. The estimated project cost is 4.1 plus million. The funds being requested are 3.2 plus million. The next project we have is also in Harriman City. This is on 6600 West. This is for a bridge over Rose Creek. This project is estimated to cost 5.6 plus million. The funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. The next project is a request from Holiday City on Highland Drive. This is for reconstruction and complete street improvements between Arbor Lane to Van Winkle Expressway. Project estimated cost is 15.1 plus million. The funds being requested are 5 million. The next project is a project in Kearns. This is on 4270 West. This is for a roadway reconstruction project between 5400 South and Home Run Drive. This project's just under a half mile in length. Estimated cost is a little more than 4 million. Funds being requested are 3.7 plus million. The next project is a project request from UTA. This is the implementation and phasing of the tracks modernization. This project's estimated to cost $11 million, and the funds being requested are $4 million. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is on I-15 and 7200 South, northbound on-ramp, the widening on-ramp. Estimated cost is a little more than $7 million, and the funds being requested are $3.5 million. Next project is a request from Mill Creek City. This is on 1300 East. This is to reconstruct 13th East between 33rd South and Lorraine Drive. Just under a half mile in length. Estimated cost is $8.4 million plus. The funds being requested are 4.2 plus million. Next project is a request from Mill Creek. This is also on Highland Drive. It's a reconstruction project between the city boundary to 3300 South to improve active transportation components as well. Project estimated cost is 7.2 plus million. Funds being requested are 6.7 plus million. The next project is a request from Murray City. This on 6400 South. This is to reconstruct this road to make it a uniform cross section with curb gutter and sidewalk between 13th East and Highland Drive. Estimated project cost is 9.8 plus million. The funds being requested are 9.1 plus million. The next project is a request from Riverton on 1300 West. This is to reconstruct with minor widening to give us a uniform cross-section road with shoulders, curb gutter, and sidewalk between 131 South and 137 South. Estimated project cost is 9.7 plus million. Funds being requested are 7.1 plus million. The next project request is one in Riverton on 138 South. This is for complete street improvements. This is for bike and ped improvements between 3600 West and 4000 West. Estimated project cost is 4.9 plus million. The funds being requested are 4.6 plus million. The next project we have is a request from UDOT. This is for the on-ramp on 700 North. This is for ramp metering and widening the ramp between I-15 or I-215 and 700 North. Estimated project cost is 3.3 plus million. The funds being requested are 1 million. The next project is a project request from UTA for the Salt Lake Central Transit improvements with parking garage and with the bus loop and other transit improvements. Estimated project cost is $55 million. The funds being requested are $10 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is for the light rail vehicle replacement from the high floor to the low floor vehicles. Estimated project cost $146 million. Funds being requested are for $10 million. This is for the second 20 vehicles. They've funded the first 20 already. The next request is from Salt Lake City. This is on Wakara Way. It's a reconstruct. This facility is estimated to cost $5+ million, and the funds being requested are $4.7 million. The next project is a request from Sandy. This is the intersection project at 114 South, 1300 East. Estimated project cost is 5.3+ million. Funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. Next project is a request from Sandy. This is Monroe. This is phase 4 or phase 3. This is a new construction between the mall ring to 106 South. This particular request is for right-of-way. Estimated total project cost is a little more than 29 million. Funds being requested are for 4 million. The next project is a request from South Jordan. This is the Shields Lane multi-use path between Bangerter and 3200 West. Estimated project cost is 4.5+ million. Funds being requested are 3.9+ million. The next project is a new construction on Prosperity Road. This is in South Jordan, out between Crimson View Drive and Bingham Rim Road. Estimated project cost 11.6 million plus. Funds being requested is 10.8+ million. The next project we have is a request from Salt Lake, South Salt Lake. This is for the 300 West reconstruction between 3300 South and 3900 South. Estimated project cost is 17.4+ million. Funds being requested are 16.2+ million. Next project is a request from Taylorsville. This is on 3900 South. This is for separated bike paths on both sides of the facility, as well as reconstruction of the road between Redwood Road and Jordan River and curb gutter and sidewalk. Estimated project cost is 13.6+ million. Funds being requested are 7.4+ million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is for the radio system operations. This is for a new radio system. The estimated project cost is 24 million, and they're requesting $2 million. The next project is a request from West Jordan. This is for 1300 West. This is for reconstruction and minor widening, phase 3 between 6600 South, 7800 South, 1.5 miles about. Project estimated cost is 20.6+ million. Funds being requested is 3 million. The next project is a request from West Valley City. This is the 1300 West. This is bike lanes improvement between 4000 and 3300 South. Little more than 1 mile in length. Project estimated cost is 11.2+ million. Funds being requested are a little more than 7 million. Next project is a request from West Valley City and Magna. This is a 7200 West reconstruction with minor widening for a uniform cross-section, curb gutter and sidewalk between 4100 South and 3900 South. Project estimated cost is 6.5 plus million. Funds being requested are 4.2 plus million. And the last city in the STP program is the White City. This on Poppy Lane. This is to construct missing sidewalk between Emerald Drive and Galena Drive, about a third of a mile in length. Estimated cost 1.3 plus million. Funds being requested are 1.2 plus million. And that is all of the STP projects. Any questions on any of those?
Thank you. I assume you got the recommendation sheet right there? Okay.
So as this table's coming around to you, let me talk a little bit about the data and the collection. On all of our programs, after we've requested that letter of intent and have done a high-level evaluation of the eligibility of the project, we request a concept report. That concept report is for each of the projects, depending on the type of project or the type of funding, and we're asking for specific data so that we can measure data to data on those projects. That data is what these scores are based off of on all of the criteria that we go through on the programs. But when we're looking at a project, you know as well as any that there are several factors that determine a good project. Sometimes you can measure that, sometimes you can't. And we call that information other relevant professional considerations. Those are things that maybe because of the synergy, maybe it's because of the timing, maybe it's because of what's happening with the project or the sponsor or the timing of the project. Those things can't be necessarily measured with the score. And so we take that into consideration. We take into the information we collect while we're out on the field review. And we prepare all that information. We put the data on the sheet. We rank that by the scores that they give from the data. And then we come to the TAC committees with the staff recommendation, and that's considering all the other information that we've had made available as we're looking at the projects. That's where those recommendations come into you. Recognizing we've got a lot of good projects, but not necessarily enough money. So these projects then are, you can see how the STP sheet is laid out. So across the top there, you've got the rows of the columns. You've got the suggested amount. You've got the project ID, the UDOT region. We're all in region 2 here. The county, we're all in the Salt Lake County. Then you've got the city and the agency. The agency is the one who's requested the project. That might be the city. It might not be the city. If it was UTA or UDOT, they're working with the cities, but they're the ones coming forward with the request. Then we have the funding. These are all the STP. We have the name of the project, the from and the to, and then we have the project length. Then we get into the estimated project cost, the requested funds, the local funds, the classification of the facility, the type of improvement, because all the data is weighted depending on 5 criteria. There's the bike and ped and other. Then you've got reconstruction, you've got new capacity, you've got transit, and you've got operations. And so because those projects are so different, they're weighted, and so that data can reflect on the project improvements. Then you've got the criteria to the right, and that criteria also has a lot of sub-criteria that build into this, but these are the scores of those criteria with the weighted total, and that's how these projects are ranked. So as we go through there, we'll talk about them, and we'll go to that, if that's all right. So the very first project there, we'll just use the first line. That's a Salt Lake City request there On Wakara Way, Foothill Drive, there they were requesting 4.7 plus million. But that is not a project we recommended from the staff in this program. The first one we recommended is project number 2. This is a holiday request. This is for improvements to Highland Drive, the reconstruction and complete streets. We're recommending a partial funding to the 5 million they requested. We're recommending $2.5 million. The next project that we have is the third line there. This is Cottonwood Heights. This is a request from Cottonwood Heights for the Highland Drive widening project through the intersection there at 7100 South Highland Drive to 6990 South Highland Drive. The requested amount was for 3.5 plus million, and we're recommending $2 million for that project. We then skip line number 4 and we go to line number 5, and this is a Mill Creek project on Highland Drive. And this is to reconstruct with active transportation improvements on this facility. The request was for 6.7 plus million. We're recommending 2 million on this project. The next project, request number 6, is a request from Taylorsville. This is for the 3900 South reconstruction of that facility with separated bike paths, curb gutter, and sidewalks. They were requesting 7.4 plus million, and we're recommending the 2.5 million. The next project, number 7, is a request from Riverton City on 1300 West. This is for reconstructing and uniform a cross section with curb gutter and sidewalk and bike lanes. They are requesting 7.1 plus million. We are requesting or recommending 2 million. We then skip number 8 and number 9 and move into number 10. This is a request from West Valley City on 7200 West. This is to reconstruct between 4100 South and 3900 South. This is for 4.2 plus million was the request, and we're recommending 2.5 million. You then turn the page and we jump down to project number 16. This is a project in Draper City. This is Lone Peak Parkway between 123rd and 12650. They requested 4.3 plus million, and we're recommending 2.5 million. We then have project number 17, which is a request from West Jordan City on 1300 West between 6400 and 7800 South. This project was requesting $3 million, and we're recommending $2 million. We then skip project number 18 and we go to project number 19. This is a project in Midvale and UDOT. This is on 5400 South. Nope, sorry. This is on I-15, the on-ramp at 7200 South. They were requesting 3.5 million, and we're recommending 2.5 million. You then skip down and turn the page, and we got the project number 21, where this is a request from UTA. This is for the light rail vehicle replacement project. They were recommending or requesting $10 million, and we were recommending $2 million. Then if you scroll clear to the bottom, you can see the total of $22.5 million of what we've programmed and what is available. And that's what we have for staff recommendation.
Thank you. Are there any questions that we need to address to Ben?
I have one. Our 700 East Size Road project is also missing from the STP list.
We will look into that one. I would suspect though, for Sandy though, where we've got the money funded in the other programs on the intersection project, we probably wouldn't have had funds on both programs or both projects, but apparently we didn't include that. I apologize. My fault. Good catch.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Withridge? Okay, not seeing any. By way of procedure, Ben, we just want to go with start from the top and then we'll hit the TAP projects later, or we can cover them now and we'll just go through them all.
If you like, Mr.
Individual
Chair,
motions.
and if the committee,
If that's,
I think
I mean,
If we
you're
went and
there,
reviewed.
and does the committee have an issue if we just go ahead and move with TAP and review? Okay, I don't see anybody screaming and yelling, so I think that'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we're in it, let's go.
All right, we'll have the chart pull up with the fake numbers. No, they're all good except for CMAC and CRP. And now STP, I guess we're missing one there, but thank you, Brittany. TAP projects, supposedly there's 16 projects there are 16 projects, but so far I'm 0 for 0 or 0 for 4 on the numbers. So 16 projects have requested $25+ million in federal funds. Available is $2.1 million. So of those 16 projects, we'll fly through them quick in review. So the first one we have for review is a request from Compwood Heights on 2300 East. This is sidewalk connection between Fort Union Boulevard to 6400 South. Project estimated cost is 1.6+ million. Funds being requested are 1.5+ million. The next project is also a project in Compwood Heights. This is Bengal Boulevard pedestrian trail between 2600 East and Pamela Drive. Project estimated cost is $4.2 million. Funds being requested are 3.9+ million. The next project is also a request from Compwood Heights. This is for the Fort Union Boulevard 1600 East Hawk project. This is estimated to cost about $520,000. The funds being requested are $484,000. The next project we have is the Kearns Power Line Corridor. This is for a bike ped facility between 5400 South and 6200 South. Estimated project cost is 2.8+ million, and the funds being requested are 2.6+ million. The next project is a project in Magna. This is for sidewalk improvements on 3100 South between 7200 West and 7270 West. Project estimated cost is $520,000. Funds being requested are $485,000+. The next project is in Salt Lake City Bike Share. This is for capital care. This is for replacement of stations and bikes that have worn out. Estimated project cost is $850,000. The funds being requested are $792,000+. The next project we have is a request from South Jordan. This is the Shields Lane multi-use path between Bangor Highway and 3200 West. Estimated project cost is 3.3+ million. Funds being requested are 2.7+ million. Next project is a request from South Salt Lake. This is mobility improvements on 300 West between 2100 South to Andy Avenue. Project estimated cost is 1.1+ million. Funds being requested are a little more than $1 million. Next project is also in South Salt Lake. This is mobility improvements at Central Point Place. This is estimated to cost $34,000, and the funds being requested are a little more than $31,600+. The next project is also in South Salt Lake. This is the Central Point Station East improvements. Estimated to cost $37,000. Funds being requested are $34,000+. The next project is Central Point Station West improvements. Project is estimated to cost $40,000. Funds being requested are $37,000+. The next project is also in South Salt Lake. This is for mobility improvements along Haven between 3000 West to West Temple. This project is estimated to cost $415,000. Funds being requested are $386,000+. The next project is a request from Taylorsville on 3900 South. This is for bike lanes and improvements between Redwood Road and Jordan River. Estimated total project cost is 11.8+ million. Funds being requested are 5.7+ million. Next project is a request from Murray City on 5400 South to construct missing sidewalks. This is between Canal Street to Walden Glen Drive. Project estimated cost is $548,000. Funds being requested are $200,000. The next project is a request from West Valley City. This is on 1300 West. This is bike lanes and between 4,000 South and 3,300 South. Project estimated cost is 9+ million. The funds being requested are 4.9+ million. The next project is a request from White City. This is on Emerald Drive to construct missing sidewalks between Garnett Drive and Poppy Lane. Project estimated cost is 615,000 plus. Funds being requested are 573,000 plus. And that is all the TAP projects. Any questions there? We'll invite Hugh to walk us through the programs and the recommendation.
Anything missing from that presentation? Let's make sure it's on the list. I think we're 16 for 16 though. As that comes through. And I'll wait till these get all around and then just walk through quickly what exactly we're all looking at together on these pages. Very similar to the STP program. Scoring's on your right. You'll see the recommendation is on the far left. The different colors all the way on the right represent the different types of categories that the TAP projects get applied under. Everything in blue was applied for as a capital project. Anything in red, and there's nothing this year in Salt Lake, that applied for red would be a study or design. And everything in green would be specifically applied for under Safe Routes to School, and nothing in those categories this year. But that's why those columns are there. So I'll get right to it. You'll see the fourth project down is the Murray 5400 South Sidewalk. A request for 200, and we are recommending $200,000 on that project. Then we're going to jump to the last project on that page, which is the South Jordan Shields Lane multi-use path. You will recall from the CRP CMAC that funding was also recommended in that, and from the TAP program we are recommending $1.5 million there. Oh, by the way, there's $2.1 million to program, as Ben mentioned earlier. And then we're going to go all the way to the last page of your document and recommend $400,000 on the Green Bike Capital Care bike and station replacement. And that gets us to the 2.1 million available.
Thank you. Any questions for these projects? For Hugh? Anyone online? I'm not seeing anybody. Jordan, nobody raising their hand?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be available in the back. If anybody
Okay,
wants to
thank
chat.
you. All right, well, we appreciate it, and thank you to the staff of Wasatch Front for all the work you do on this. With that, if we don't have any more discussion, we'll take these individually for approval or recommendation. So the first item is the CMAC projects that were presented to us. We'll take a motion for recommendation of approval of those items presented by the staff and forward those on in the process. Do we have a motion?
Pat Anderson with the MSD. I motion to recommend the projects as proposed by WFRC staff for CMAC projects.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
And
Becca Roll, Salt Lake City.
thank you, Becca. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the CMAC projects. Any other discussion?
Who was the motion again?
Oh, right there. I thought it was online. Okay, seeing no other discussion, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. The second item on the agenda is for the CRP project, same motion. We will to recommend approval of those projects presented by the Wasatch Front staff and recommend those proceed forward in the process. So we'll take a motion on that.
Mr. Chair, I make that motion that we approve the recommended projects from Wasatch Front Regional Council, Keith with Midvale City.
A motion by Keith Midvale. Do we have a second on that motion?
Kobe Wilson, West Valley, second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on this item before we vote? And seeing or hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Thank you. Moving right along, we're on the TAP projects. Same motion. We'll ask for a motion to move these forward, approve from the staff and move forward in the process.
Brittany Ward, Sandy City, I'll motion to approve the TAP projects that are recommended for funding.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Tamara Woodland, MSD, I second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion on the item before we vote? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then finally, we have the STP projects. Once again, same motion, approval of those presented by Wasatch staff to recommend to move forward in the process. I'll take a motion on that.
Hey, this is Bill Baranowski, Salt Lake City. I move that we approve the STP.
Okay, we have a motion for approval of the STP projects. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a second. Keith Midvale. Any further discussion on that item?
I just wanted to point out, I like that there were 3 projects on Highland all in a row selected. That will help make that a more continuous thoroughfare like it is, but it'll improve it along a large portion of the valley. And that integrates well with the transit plans there too. So it's a good project.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And seeing none, it looks like all 4 of those action items carry. And we'll give it to you, Ben, and to make sure it gets going the rest of the way. I'm sure it'll be done. Moving on to other business, I do have a question, if I may, as far as process. And then I apologize if I'm keeping too long here. But when we get these, you shuffle them around. If a city wants to stay in that, there you are. Sorry, I was looking over there. If a municipality or a group wants to stay in that category, do you just leave them in there? Or how does that? You just make that decision, the best place to put them based on their application and the funding available?
Are you talking during our evaluation?
Yeah, during your evaluation, when you initially get it, you kind of shuffle things around. Is that correct?
We do. We try to look at all the projects and not miss any. I apologize on those that we missed. Yes, we try to look at a project in every location that it's eligible within reason. Sometimes, sometimes we have quite a bit, but that is our practice.
Okay. No, that's great. I was just curious. I kind of understand it, but I wanted to make sure it was out there.
Ben,
But we do enjoy working with y'all on this. You do make our lives a little easier. Yeah, go ahead, Kip.
Yeah, I wanted to offer a comment. I know when there's a lot of projects that come in to be reviewed, and I know at the beginning of the process, We share all of those that have been submitted and, and ask, did we get everybody's projects? But then when we go into further detail and evaluating the same project under multiple funding, well, sometimes I think that's where we lost some projects. Projects got considered under one source of funds and maybe not another when that was the intent. So maybe we can go back and look at our process and try to do a better job to make sure your projects are being funded under are being evaluated under the different funds intended.
No, that's great. We get at the last meeting or the previous one, we got the sheet, the preliminary that said these are the projects going forward to the next stage, right?
Correct.
And have they been finalized in that category at that time?
No.
No.
So as we're moving through the evaluation, then we start to break them up and we start to look at the CMAQ and CRP with those criteria, the TAP with that criteria, the STP with this. And then we circle back for discussion on the projects. And we talk about the potential of a project also being looked at in another program. And so we kind of go back and forth, in and out.
Okay.
Quite often.
No, it's just process question. We appreciate the explanation on some of these, and we're comfortable that the outcome is still going to be the outcome just based on your memory of some of these that might have gotten omitted inadvertently or some things that happened. So we've already approved them, so we'll move forward. So I don't have anything else. Is any other business that we need to be aware of for the group committee? Okay, I don't, so our next meeting is May 28th. And it looks like Salt Lake City has the presentation and the refreshments, so you're going to have to try to outdo Mr. Castle. He went out of his way. So without anything else, that I notice, I'll take a motion to dismiss until we adjourn again. Once again, you guys like hanging out with me.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go. Thank you. Motion. I heard somebody mumble a second. We'll call it good. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.